How would you describe your grandmother?
Prototype. She's the prototype. If there's a woman you want to be, it's her.
Boisterous is the word.
Poised. She's very poised.
Loving. That's a good one.
Yeah, love, yeah.
Fun. My grandmother is really sure about who she is.
See, she's telepathic. Call it black girl magic. Yeah, she scares the girl.
You can just see this woman that is sure of herself. And I feel like that's queenly.
In my generation, we wanted to work. Our husbands, at least mine did, said, well, you don't have to work, but I wanted to work, so it was up to me.
My grandmother is just like gushing with personality.
Back in that day, it was called coffee houses. That's what we go to, this place up in Old Town called the Fickle Pickle. And we thought we were so cool.
I had so many jobs. I worked in, I think I worked in we called it at that time a 10-cent store, which is now like Target. But it was at that time Kresge's and Newberry's and things like that.
I was pushed into being a career woman. At 18, giving birth to a child at 19. We didn't have anything. My husband at the time, he could get jobs, but he didn't have any commitment. He couldn't keep a job. So I had to start working. If we were going to survive at all, I had to start working.
A crisis could go down, like, she'll freak out, but yet she'll still handle it in a poised manner. Like, she was a nurse, so she was trained to do that. Like, blood squirt and everything. It's like, okay. Hand me this, that, and third. And then it's done.
I decided to go back to school, which I was 43 years old. And so I had always wanted to be a nurse. So I decided I would go back to school, and I took the prerequisites. And then eventually I was admitted into the nursing program, and I graduated. I went to junior college, and it took me 5 years to do the prerequisites in nursing school. And I went back to school at 43. I graduated at 47.
She would drive me to the bus stop from where I live over with my mom. And throughout all those long, car rides, we would always have, fun conversations and catch up about my day.
I don't know, as old as I am, sometimes I still feel like a girl. I always think the word woman is like an older person, but I feel young at heart, so I feel like a lady.
She was the first lady of Pleasant Gift Missionary Baptist Church. So she was a mother to many women. She was not just her own 4 daughters, but countless women and countless men and children.
It was just something that I grew up in. When I knew myself, I was going to church. By my mother being a pastor's daughter, that's all she knew. And that's all I know. I don't know anything else but church.
I feel like she puts a lot of people before her sometimes, which isn't always a good thing. But she's definitely willing to sacrifice her time and do stuff for other people.
Once I finished my bachelor's degree, I'm working in the school system, and there was an opening at one of the schools in the system. And so I went to work there as a 3rd grade teacher. That was the love of my life. I tell you, I enjoyed working with those children so.
Well, I tell you, by me being the eldest in the family, I always helped my mother, even when I was young, very young.
I was always trying to find out how I could help her because I'm really the oldest of 11. And I was always trying to find a way I could take the burden off my mom.
I got along so well with them, and I provided a sense of comfort to the young African-American children in my classroom because they were bused out of their neighborhood into a neighborhood that they were unfamiliar with. And all of their counterparts were young white children. And so having me as a teacher gave them a sense of comfort.
My sister and brother and I even got a part-time job after school so that we would have extra money in the family. And we would give my mom the money and she would take it and she would say, here, you take half of it back.
Is there anything surprising about you that your granddaughter might not know?
I don't know. She would have to answer that. I really don't know.
Well, I would imagine there's a lot that Kaylin probably would not know. But everything that she should know, I think she does.
Because, actually, I've been around, my grandchildren have been around me, and I have been around them, and I wouldn't know. They just know me. I believe they know me. I believe they do.
I'm not real sure they know this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's very, I think it's very, very important. This dear friend of mine who passed away, I tell you, my male friend, when I was about 19 years old, he was my boyfriend. And they got to know him through parties, social gatherings, and things like that as Uncle John. I would really be surprised if they knew that he was at one time my boyfriend. My husband knows, but I would be surprised if they knew it. And I wouldn't mind them knowing that.
I achieved a brown belt in judo. Now, this was like in 1964, 1965. And he was into judo, the martial arts. And he used to force me to go. And I would hate to go because at that time I was doing my career. I was getting off from work. And he said, we're going to judo tonight. And I didn't want to go. But I had no choice because back then you did what they asked you to do. So I was in judo and I got a brown belt in judo. Actually, so I don't think she knew that.
Nothing about age has made her stagnant. Like, she's really always having new ideas. And even though she says that she doesn't like change, I think that she is a person that has grown and changed with the world. And that's always been really beautiful to see.
And guess what? I haven't used that brown belt since then.
It's like the magic's like a spell. My brothers went to heaven. The police going to you, they're going to hello, operator.
Are we gonna make it?
Can all of you?
Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, I don't know. She might get.
Do you feel like you sacrificed any dreams or goals to have your family?
It's hard feeling like a grown-up because there's so many mile markers of adulthood that are just not in the cards for me.
Because everybody or every woman is not mother material.
So does that mean that you think like I do? That's a good thing. That's a good thing.